Honestly, it's been a while since I last posted on my YouTube channel. I've been busy with school and work, but in today's video, I'm
Take
going
your
to talk
time.
about a common trend I've seen on YouTube. Seen a big doomer trend. So for those of you who don't know, the doomer is kind of like this archetype of a person who sees, the worst or the worst in society at any given moment. Obviously we know that we're living through like weird times right now with, going through basically at the verge of World War III right now. Massive hyperinflation, massive unemployment, massive overemployment. There's a lot of people who have, jobs that they're overqualified for. A lot of people with bachelor's and even master's degrees and even PhD degrees working in retail stores like Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, places like those. And I understand like the problems we face nowadays are not the same that other generations have faced. But I think a common thing I've seen online is this pretty big trend towards doomerism. Like people have been looking through like the worst of society. There's a lot of people who are going around saying that there's no hope or anything like that. Now, first off, me, I'm a Christian personally. I believe everybody should be a Christian. But I just can't really accept this idea of like there's nothing good. Society can never improve. Things will never change. You know, I genuinely believe, and I know it's not everybody. Not everybody can be, not everybody can succeed, but success can come from any person or any group or individually. You know, it's easy to look at the trends nowadays and feel kind of disillusioned or whatever. But every single generation throughout human history has had um, bad times they've had. If you go back to the 1800s, there was slavery. If you go back to the early 1900s, there was a lot of racial problems, and World War I was brewing. Then we had World War II. Then in the 50s through the 70s, we had, Vietnam. Now, peak of the 90s, you had the conflict in the Middle East. There's never been a time or era in human history, I think, where no generation has never suffered or never had it tough or never had it hard. You know, I, I there's a lot of nostalgia. People look back towards societies and places they've never been and places they've never, belonged to as a sense of kind of like they want to go back to those places. It's good to long for the past, but we have to do the best with what we have nowadays, you know? I mean, I do believe that, like, I guess in a way, no one's coming to save you in the sense of like, ultimately you have to take responsibility for your own life. But that's the way it was for everybody throughout human history, for most people. Unless you're born into a family that's, really wealthy, really rich, really well connected, that's kind of the reality. Some people, I kind of think of it like the allegory of like Plato's cave. Some people are born into the cave by default and through their, through their family members, success in life, personal accomplishment. Like I've applied to a bunch of jobs in the last couple of days. I can't even believe like the number of jobs that I've applied to in which like positions have been canceled for, or they've said that flat out they're not hiring anybody for these type of positions has been kind of crazy. And like I'm kind of even right now I'm kind of thinking like we're on the verge of World War III. I might as well take a risk and quit my current retail job and try to work for something for myself. That's part of the reason why I came back to YouTube. And I'm trying to I'm gonna try harder in the future to try to really grind this channel, really try to blow it up, try to make it something of my own, you know? Like and subscribe, have a great day. And I'll be posting regularly again, once a week on Fridays. I'll try. Have a good one.